Okay, who did it horizontally? Interesting, okay. Someone talk me through how you did it. Someone who hasn't had a go yet.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
It's an easy one. Hopefully it's right. I did it vertically, so 247 times 32.
Yep.
2 times 7 is 14. 4. There's one up there. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus the 1 is the 9.
Sorry, that's 9. Yep, okay.
2 times 2 is 4.
Yep.
1 0 down to 1 column. 3 times 7 is 21. 1, 2, 2, 3 is 12. Sorry, I've got
4 3 is 12.
3 was a 12. Plus the 2. 14. 1, 3, 2, 6. 7. Add those up. 4, 0, 10. And 7.
Oh, and 7. Okay, who did it that way? Right. Who did it a different way? How did you go? Oh.
The long way, I think.
Okay.
I think I've just learned something about how I manipulate large numbers. I try and revert them all to something small that I can manage.
Yeah.
So I looked at the 32 and went, oh, okay. Or I can see 2, or 2 times 247 gives me 494.
Wait on, 247 times 2 equals...
494, and I think I actually doubled. I don't think I multiplied.
Okay, so you doubled it.
And then I realised that the 32 from the original question was actually 30 and 2, and I'd already used the 2, so now I had to work with 30.
So now you're playing with that, yeah.
And I could take the naught off and I could move the naught to 247.
Yeah.
So,
Put
so
the
it
naught onto
became 2,470.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I could multiply it by a small number again, which was 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We could do p addition.
21.
And then I added the results of the 2 processes.
Yeah. Okay. And you got the same answer. Okay. Very good. All right. Anybody else? People are even going, yeah. What did you do?
I doubled to start with as well, to 247.
247 double. Yeah. To 494. Yep.
And then I took the 30 as 3 groups of 10.
30 equals 3 groups of 10. Yeah.
And so I knew that 247 times 10 is 2,470.
Yeah.
And so I wrote that 3 times and added values.
Ah. So the same but it's slightly longer version, yeah? Okay, and then you added the answers for those 2 together as well. Okay.
I was laughed at by my colleagues.
You were laughed
I was
at?
laughed at for my strategies.
Oh, we changed colleagues.
He's nearly done.
It's still going.
Yeah, no. I did 3 lots of 250.
That's what I'm saying.
3, tell us why.
247 is near 250.
Okay, 3 lots of 250.
And then I took off 9.
And then you took off 9 because?
That's the difference between 247 and 250 is 3, and 3 lots of 3 is 9. And then using place value, you make that
741. Yeah, and then what'd you do?
using place value, that becomes 7,410.
Now, why would you use place value to make that
Because
7,410?
I'm timesing it by 10, the 3, so 3 lots of 10. And then I just did 2 lots of 247 and add that.
And then you just did 2 lots of...
247. Now you know why they laugh.
No, keep going, I'm with you. So you used place value for this and you got 7410, and then what did you do after that?
What's that? Oh, you've lost me now.
Yeah, you've lost me.
No, we've got the 247 times 30, now you just need 247 times 30.
Oh, right, okay. So 247 times 2 is 400.
And you add it together.
Yeah, okay. Now, would you normally do that?
What's that?
Do you normally do it that way?
Yeah, I usually do it in my head though.
Yeah, and that's just when they're close to like this. Would you do that if it was like, I don't know, 246 even?
Yeah.
You'd still go around that way. Okay, that's good. All right. I'm going to tell you about some RMIT students. I shouldn't have said the university, but some pre-service teachers. But I can also add me into this. Maybe about 5 years ago, it hit me like a sledgehammer. All my life, I had been doing this and I'd been getting the right ticks and enough to get me right through university and come out the other end where I am now, because someone had taught me to do that and it was reliable, and at the end I realised that I actually didn't have a clue, because I was placed in a situation, and it would only be about 5 years ago, that's frightening, but where someone said to me, could you explain to some kid exactly what's going on when you do this long multiplication? And I knew that 247 was being multiplied by 2, but when it got beyond that, I wasn't quite sure what was happening. And probably there may be some people out there who are thinking, I don't know if I could actually have explained that too. And so I went away and worked out just what someone had said over here about, I don't know, somebody said it or other, but what we have is 200 plus 40 plus 7, and it's being multiplied by 30 plus 2. And in fact, if I multiply all of those squares out and then add all the bits together, I actually will get the same answer. And that's because what's happening in and that's another way some people can do it, every single one of those calculations can be written out, and for some kids should be. The first thing that's happening is I'm doing 7 and I'm multiplying it by 2. Then I'm doing 40 and I'm multiplying that by 2. Then I'm doing 200 and I'm multiplying that by 2. That's the first bunch of numbers that's taking place on the first line. And then the second line, what's happening on the second, 247 times 32. Sorry. What's happening on the next line? 7 times 30, 40 times 30, and 200 times 30. And unfortunately I reckon for lots of kids out there, we jump through this. I've seen, and that's when I started to say the RMIT students, it's not their fault, because we all default to what we were taught under pressure. But in doing this, they were hell-bent on, you put the number there and you carry the number there and you drop the 0, and there's some little poem some people even have about dropping the zeros down, and you do that and you do that and you do that, and eventually there's an answer. And if you keep doing that, you'll get so many ticks that people will be really proud of you. But unless the kids reason and understand this, what's the point of that? It's like if you forget the formula, or if you forget where does the 0 actually go and what's the 0 about, why do you drop the 0 or whatever the poem is, then you're up the creek without the paddle, proverbial paddle. If somebody told you that or taught you that, or who's ever done that lattice method? Well, I wonder, is it? You need to, have you seen the lattice method? Yeah. Go back just for your own personal development and find out, why does that lattice method work? For those who haven't seen it, it's this stuff, and you're adding the columns this way and writing the answers down here. 3 2s are 6, like that. There. So the tens and the units go there, tens and units, tens and units. It's a very interesting task. Go back and find out, why does it work? Do you know why it works?